quit your crappy job and buy a lovely little narrowboat to cruise and document the entire British network in 3 years. And work out how to bring in money en route, really, when it comes to it, when the savings have run out. And guess what? The savings have run out. Well, not fully, because we didn't get a survey, we were sold a dud, and now we've spent the last 2 years refitting the blimming thing. But we've had fun doing it, and we've learnt a hell of a lot, and we're going to give this boat a whole new life. The life that she deserves, and the life that we deserve, because I've quit my blimming job and I need to do this because time's running out. How's it going, guys? So we have pretty much finished off the kitchen now, so exciting times in this episode because it finally gives us the chance to move away from that and start concentrate on something new on the narrowboat. Only one half of the Crobot team here because the other one is sitting down there and she's eating cereal. It is time to finally move on to the bathroom. We've been itching to get in there. I mean, in today's episode, we're just going to have a move around in there and start moving the lovely shower tray back in there and just seeing where we're at and what we can do to start getting the bathroom finished. Also, in today's episode, we're going to check out the boat's batteries because when we're out cruising on the rivers and the canals, we're going to need to have energy coming in from the boat somehow because we're not going to be moored up and have things like this, which is the shoreline. So, you know, we need to be able to charge our batteries up, and the way we're going to do that is we've got an alternator on the engine, and hopefully that will charge up the batteries as we're moving around and the boat's running. Run a little check on the batteries to see if they're still sort of juicy enough to keep us powered for our travels, or if we might need to get a whole new set. I think they're quite expensive. Also, we're going to head down into our bow thruster area again today and see what the leak situation is. Is it a leak? Is it condensation? Who knows? We're not adamant. We think it's probably condensation because the door that sits in the front of it hasn't got any vents on it. So that would cause condensation from the fireplace and the freezing cold river running through the tube of the bow thruster. But we haven't been down there for 3 days. The door's been off for 6 days. I mean, if it's a leak, then there's going to be a little trickle of water in there somewhere.
It's not waffles for breakfast.
I am waffling a little bit, aren't I? Day 1, and the past few weeks we've been told to anticipate new neighbours. I mean, what is this thing doing here? And more so, what the hell is it? What is it? New neighbours.
They like the open top sort of look on their boat. It's very industrial. I think it's a weed car.
Yeah, any ideas what the hell this thing is? What is this contraption, guys? I reckon it either comes from Half-Life or belongs to the EA. Maybe both. Don't have a clue what the hell it is. Okay, so what time is it, Becks?
It must be time for the weekly bow thruster check area.
What?
No.
You completely said it wrong.
I know.
The weekly check of the bow thruster area. What time is it, Becks?
It must be time for the weekly bow...
Check.
It must be time to check.
No. Well, let's just get in there, all right?
It's the bow thruster check thing. Thingamajiggy.
We haven't looked in there for about 3 or 4 days now, have we? We thought, let it build up a bit more, just sort of see. So I think this time it will determine if the boat is having the water issues due to condensation or a little leak from the bow thruster area. Because, I mean, 6 days in from being dry, if there is not even one tiny little drizzle in there on one of the beams, it's got to be condensation, hasn't it? Because you'd think there'd be a tiny bit, wouldn't you?
I mean, if it's a leak leaks continuously, whether it's a slow leak or a fast hard leak, it is continuous, so you'd find something, surely.
Here we go. I'm going in. How much of the body goes in normally?
As much as you can contort.
Now remember, this has been off for 6 days now, so if there's a leak in here, there should be a tiny little drizzle somewhere, shouldn't there? I mean, under there it's a bit of moisture under the bow thruster tube. Let's let Becks have a look and see what she thinks. So well over a year ago, Becks scraped out a load of rust in here, but she didn't do underneath the bow thruster tube. Anyone's going to find something. It's Vera. So Becks is carrying out a tube check.
When I scraped it very originally, I didn't sort of do under the pipe, so there's a bit of a mound of old crappy rusty stuff sort of a bit stuck under the pipe, so I wonder if we should try and get some of that out, because that's the only bit that looks remotely. I just can't remember if it looked like that under the pipe last time, can you?
I know what you're saying, yes. It's sort of wet. But there's no water at all in there.
So I think that's the last check we should do maybe, is get under the pipe with a scraper and just try and get out all of that remnant sort of rusty, slightly damp crap, and then just get some airflow under there and it fully dry out, and then we'll just keep on checking it for the next few weeks. But I mean, it's looking, the condensation argument is strong at this point, is what I would say.
Like everything with this life, the puzzle continues. What are you doing? You're doing little weird things. You think it's a bit childish to put little fingers as bunny rabbits behind my head and stuff?
No.
So the heavens opened up a bit and attracted a little friend of ours that came to visit us a few episodes ago when I was a bit sad and I spoilt her rotten with a naan bread. Do you remember? Yeah, you're not really meant to feed them bread, but you know, a little bit won't harm, will it? She likes Indian, by the looks of it. We build the trust up.
I do.
Around Easter time, around Easter Sunday. You probably want to know where the hell this duck thing is going, and I'm telling you, what followed later on in this episode was pretty incredible. Yep, she's back, guys. Where's my naan breads? Breads, I know it's bad. Straight away. Oh. She just wants to take it right from your hand, this one. It's so placid. Oi, that's my thumb! Here she goes. It's the guilt for you. The guilt of biting the breadwinner, literally. And just wait until you see what that led to later in the episode. Anyway, on to the bathroom.
So I was just sat there kind of wondering where Chris is. Thought I'd go for a little wander down the boat, and this is what I found. It would appear he's barricaded himself in the back room. God knows what he's doing in there. He's never coming out at this rate. This is like impassable.
Such a small amount of space to operate in.
You end up
And
with
everything just ends up everywhere. Well, it does with me. It might not with somebody who's a bit better organised. Well, I've done the mistake. I should have probably moved it more out into the kitchen a bit, opposed to just start building it up here. Now it's just this onslaught of bits and bobs.
The further away you move it, the further you have to move it back. That's always my rule.
So I've tidied up a little bit and I've got the space ready for Becks to carry out a special moving around the disgusting objects in the bathroom procedure so that we can get a better understanding of what it's going to look like when it's done. And more so, if we can just fit everything in this tiny little space. You know, we've still got my little shower tray, remember, that's coming in a bit. So let's see what comes of that. So more of that in a bit. Let's check out what the battery situation is on the boat. So obviously a massive part of us going cruising is for us to bring in enough energy to keep the boat running while we're completely off grid. So we do have 2 alternators, I think, on the engine. We're not sure if they fully work or not. And we've got, I think, 3 or 4 batteries. One might be the starter battery, the other 3 might be the leisure batteries. So we're going to take the little box up and we're just going to run some sort of easy little checks on it first before we bring in a real professional to properly do a professional check, I suppose. All this crap out again from the engine bay area. I think they call that the stern. Bloody horrible old sink from the kitchen. So messy. We need to get some of this to the tip, really do. I think Becks wanted to put it up on Marketplace or something, so if anyone wants a grubby old sink, let us know. Yeah, she likes to repurpose it. Good idea, but it's been going on for about a year now, that just sitting at the back here. She's out of control. Who needs to fork out on a professional company when you've got solar and 12-volt power for beginners, eh? We'll be professionals by the end of this, I'm telling you. The boat's batteries are situated here on the right in the metal box. We haven't used them much. We've been on shoreline, remember? First things first, let's get the boss to have a look in the secret little battery box. One of the main things we need when we're going to be permanently cruising is power from the batteries.
Although it's not like massively accurate, we're just going to check what the batteries are reading using a multimeter now, so that'll give us some level of idea whether they're sort of holding charge.
There's a hell of a lot of things going on down here. Yeah, they came with the boat. We're not sure what state they're in. Welcome back, Becker's trusty voltage meter. Well, actually, it's 50-50 share. I paid half. It's mine too. And that's half mine, isn't it?
You could have the red wire and I'll have the black one. So just before we start, I have a sneaking suspicion that our leisure batteries may be knackered. So batteries have, see these things here, they're like an indicator of the condition. Starter battery, which is this one, you come look down that hole, you'll see that that's green, which indicates that the battery's in good condition. As opposed to leisure batteries, which are neutral, which means they need charging, which would possibly suggest to me that they're not holding charge. That could be completely wrong.
Oh, Inspector Crobot. Vera's back on the scene. I got this book from Mum and Dad for Christmas and it's awesome. It's solar power for beginners. It just goes to the bare basics to get the solar sort of going, and in here it just tells you everything in big large letters and little diagrams how to do stuff. So for babies basically. 12.8 volts is normal. Perfect.
For a fully charged battery.
About 2.4 volts is about halfway. If you have let your battery go below 12 volts, then your battery is flat and may well have shortened its life. So we don't really want these to be under 12.4 really. But they're probably going to be. Okay, get in there. Back with her magical little sticks, which she has a 50% share in. But it was going under and over, so.
It wasn't, it's just doing the points.
So it looks like our starter battery's alright. Okay, on to the big boys. Let rip.
14.24, that one's alright.
They shouldn't even go that high.
No, they will, because the solar's tapped into them, remember. So they're all exactly the same, which is probably a good thing because it means there's not like a weaker one that's drawing power and damaging the other ones.
There is a problem somewhere though, isn't there? Because they're not really charging. We went and took it out once, and after half an hour when we'd moored up, all the lights went off inside, and then a little weird alarm went off.
Just going back to my theory about the coloured dot, these are a different make to this, so they might have a different coding.
It says in the book, when they're fully charged, it should be 12.8 volts.
That's just setting your benchmark to know that they're charged fully.
You reckon?
I by no means know what I'm talking about really at all. What I'm thinking we should do is maybe go and try and use some of the stored battery power, but by just using an appliance or something inside, so that when we come to run our secondary test, which is turning the engine on and seeing if the alternator is providing power to the batteries, if we start to see that voltage go up.
Oh. The spaghetti factory, we're back.
It says 3000 watts peak, 1500 watts continuous. So I think basically what that means, at a guess, but I will check, is that if you're just using an appliance one-off, like a Hoover for instance, it can't be any higher than 3000 watts. But if you're running something continuously, i.e. a fridge, it can't be more than 1500 watts.
You said the H word again.
No, I'm talking about Hoovers generally, there aren't.
Whoa! He's close, he'll hear.
That's the control panel for the solar panels.
Yeah. What's this?
That's the battery charger.
You'd think at this point I'd know what that is, wouldn't you?
I think, yeah.
So let's get some appliances put on and start running down the batteries a tad. Then we can see if the alternator on the boat's engine will recharge them. Yeah, the previous owner said the boat didn't have an alternator, but Becks found out it has. So this could save us a lot of time and money. So it's literally been about 15-20 minutes. And we're going to check them again now. So they were on 14.24. We've had the fridge on and a light and the TV. I don't reckon there'll be much change, will there? Bloody hell.
12.7.
That's a huge drop in energy for 20 minutes though. What do you reckon it is?
I think that fridge is very power hungry.
The little one.
The little one. And we've got it, it's a 12 volt stroke 240 volt two-way sort of one, so you can have it plugged in either way. AC or DC, and at the minute we have it plugged into the AC. So the next stage now is to start the engine up, because in theory we have a dual alternator system on the engine. One alternator that is there, just like in your car, for charging your starter battery, but then we have a second alternator that's purpose is purely for charging up the leisure batteries. So what we want to try and determine is that working correctly. Once you start your engine up, we'll test with our meters. We're going to test straight away, and then we're going to leave the engine running for 10 minutes and we can test again. So obviously probably going to need time to start charging them up, and we'll see if we see that voltage rise again. So it was on 12.78. So
can I throw it to you? Will it go in? It'll be fun. Plus it's got the little ball thing on there.
You did a sensible throw. I thought you were just going to do what you usually do and
God.
just lob it.
Not when it's my property.
Another point to mention is we have these two lights down here on our dashboard. We were told once that they relate to your alternator charging. Now, one of the lights is fine, I think, from memory, but the other one's a bit iffy. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it isn't, which could mean that the second alternator isn't charging properly, or it's trying to tell us that something's not quite right there. Not sure, but it's a running theory at the minute. See, this light comes on now. Yeah, 13.8. So the alternator's working fine.
The alternator's working fine?
I've had a look in the past to check that second alternator, just to make sure the belt's spinning and that it's nice and tight, the tension on it seems okay. And it all looked, you know, from just a visual perspective, it looked like it was functioning okay, because I have been told with alternators, normally when they go wrong you see something going wrong with them. The belt's floppy or snapped, or it's just not turning. A lot of problems with them you can actually visually see, apparently. And so, yeah, when I checked it, it seemed to be looking okay. And now we've just checked the batteries. There's obviously power getting to them from that alternator. So it may well be on that one occasion where suddenly we were out of power, it was something to do with an appliance as opposed to the actual setup.
That little fridge.
It's a bit higher, but after the initial surge it will be slower.
So day 2 and the hunt for a new fridge is well and truly on. It's incredible how much energy that little one actually used up. And what is going on here? She's back! I'm starting to know exactly how Tony Soprano felt in that first episode of The Sopranos. Have you seen that one? You know, where he falls in love with this flock of ducks. Is it even a flock? Yeah, jump off the end. But that wasn't the end of Sopranella. One of our lovely subscribers from the vlog has offered to drop down their old fridge, and it's a 12-volter, and we're gonna give it a go, I think, and see how we get on with it. So yeah, exciting stuff. We're not sure if he's just going to turn up or if we're trying to sort of communicate over the comments on YouTube, which is never the easiest, is it? So we're just sort of keeping a lookout at the moment. Comes. Your very own Project Narrowboat burger. Is there anyone else out there that lives on a Project Narrowboat, or is it just us? Everyone sort of lives on a Project Narrowboat, don't they? We've just pulled the short straw, big time. Guess what's turned up? Fridgy. There she is. We were wondering if we were going to actually get it through the door, but we managed to get it in. It's in good shape. And a little bit bigger than our 12-volt one that we've got. Little freezer bit. And we can get rid of this 12-volt one. Lovely chap Gary popped up from, I don't know, 20 minutes away, I think, or something, wasn't it? Just to bring it down for us. So cheers, Gary. Such a lovely geezer.
Thanks, Gary. We much appreciate it.
Turns out Gary runs his own engineering business and he's given us a little card here. So have a look at this. If anyone needs any engineering bits done, any welding, milling, property maintenance, yeah, give him a shout if you're in the sort of Anglian area. Or Cambridgeshire. Oh, ow. fits in just perfect. So let's head over to the little boozer over the road here. It's not little, is it? It's blimmin' massive. And start brainstorming some ideas for the narrowboat.
Saddles on the shelf, which sounds like a weird one to start with. Kitchen roll holder.
Yeah, we get to wire in the new fridge. Yeah, we've been gifted that awesome fridge from Gary. That's low energy, isn't it, I think? Is it a compressor fridge? We weren't quite sure. We were trying to work it out. It does say it's a compressor fridge on the back, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it's a compressor fridge. Fortunately, there's some switches we can wire it up to quite easily.
So we're back to trying to rearrange and work out the layout of the kitchen. Sorry, I'm a little bit tipsy. Bathroom.
God, I wouldn't want to do my cooking in there. In some ways, we're sort of thinking that the way it was always originally set out is probably the optimum way to use the space, isn't it? We just want to have a bit of a shuffle around and see how things look in different positions. Sure.
Okay, so she's moved it into the desired position, but one thing's missing. Do you know what it is, guys? My shower tray. So Becks bought us this lovely little old school cabinet.
Proper old school.
But it's a little bit bigger than the old one that was in there, so we've got to try and make room for it. But you said you'd sort of done the measurements, because we got that about a year and a half ago, didn't we? You'd done all the measurements and it would fit in.
Seemed to be, but that's partially why I've reduced the toilet size, because although they fit, you're a bit sort of hemmed in. So everyone likes a little bit of space around them when they're using the old John.
The gunnel areas in the bathroom, they've originally just put boards all the way down so that you don't have this little, can you see?
Indent.
You have this little indent normally. But in here, this would normally be all the way down. But obviously this is a little bit bigger now. So we're sort of playing with the idea of maybe leaving that part of the bathroom indented. I like to call it, we build a little box into the gunnel area and see if we can completely rejiggle the structure of the Whistling Wombat just for this little chest of drawers.
It's going to look really nice, hopefully.
Oh. No, I think we can move it in a little bit and I think it'll look lovely. But you've got to have a little tease, haven't you?
It only needs to go under the gunnels by about an inch, maybe 2 at the most. I mean, and it doesn't have to. That basically, it's just so that you have a bit more room when you're sat on the toilet.
Exactly. So that shower tray has been sat out the back there about 2 months probably. We don't know if it might have started rusting or anything. We'll need to take a look. But let's get it in here and let's have a shuffle around and see if we can actually fit everything in this bathroom how we want it to, with the new chest of drawers that we are definitely going to have in here. We probably shouldn't have them in here. We should probably get a smaller one, but we're definitely having it in here.
I could try find something else.
No, we need it. We need it. So do you want some gloves and stuff so we can start moving everything around?
Well, can I just actually go for a wee first? Is that alright? Sitting on the toilet's like triggered the feelings or something.
Okay, I'm off. You enjoy yourself.
Thanks.
So this is my version of tidying up the back room. Do you remember? Becks showed you all the other day, me tidying up in here. This is what it's come to.
I think
spare bedroom.
In the circumstances, I think it's pretty good.
Welcome to the old snoring room. Try and get it out if I can.
I don't want you to hurt your back or something.
I do the hurting. Don't really. See if my bodybuilding days are still with me. Mr. Olympia 2023. Tell you what. There we go. Ah! Too bad. Maybe my bodybuilding days are still with me. What do you think? That went far too smooth.
It did.
Oh, just dust and a bit of water probably. Let rip, Becks. Now it's all over to Becks now. Now what? Every time a toilet comes up, it's like one person clicks away, don't they? It's a disgusting sight in a vlog. You don't want to see a toilet, do you? But if you're doing the bathroom, you're probably going to see the toilet at some point, aren't you?
Particularly offensive, does it?
So it looks like we're going to have to keep our bathroom bits in this position for now. There's not a great amount of room in there, especially with a humongous shower tray like that. She's a big bubba. And here you can see this lovely little cabinet that we've got that we want to put the sink on, but it's just a little bit too big for the bathroom. So we're going to have to slide it underneath the gunnel area here. Like I was saying before, the wall came down completely flat, so there was no gunnelage going on. So if we want to keep this bad boy, we're going to have to make a little box in the gunnel area. How many times have I said gunnel?
100.
Started something here with the old naan bread, guys. These blimmin' naan breads. Now she's on to tortilla wraps. I don't think this is good. People are going to complain about us feeding the... We do normally get some duck food. We did have some, but we're all out. So now it's tortilla wraps and naan breads. You ready for this? Good God, she's on the boat. At this point, I'm feeling extremely Tony Soprano-esque. I mean, this is my little baby now at this point. I've just got to start feeding her right. And I was trying to get her to come onto my lap. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but she weren't having any of it anyway. But at least she's on the front there. I was proper chuffed with that. Call me a weirdo, but it really made my week. I mean, do you reckon I could build a little nest at the front of the boat here? So she can have like her little babies there and stuff. What do you reckon? I mean, that would be like proper Tony Soprano-esque there, won't it? I reckon give it time and I'll get her on my lap. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. If Eddie Murphy done it, why can't I, eh? Thanks for watching, guys. I hope I didn't upset too many of you with the bread feeding to the duck. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye!